Freddy Krueger from Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. The Robert Englund version. Also, this figure is made by the amazing NECA. So on the packaging, nothing really stands out here. It's your standard blister pack. There is a good picture of Freddy on the front of the package, and in fact it's one of my favorite pictures of Freddy. On the back of the blister pack is basically more graphics. It just shows Robert Englund, and it gives you a little quote down here about what the actual movie was about. On the back of the package there's also a picture of the burnt version of Freddy, and I personally don't like that sculpt whatsoever. I think it looks just goofy. So I'm going to stick with the regular Robert Englund version. There's really only one way to open up these blister packs, and that's to cut your way in. And Freddy is being held in by several twist ties. So first, let's take a look at the sculpt. As you can see, it's just absolutely stunning looking. So Robert Englund has kind of a weird shaped face, and they just nailed it. I mean, you can look at this and instantly you can tell this is Robert Englund. No matter what direction you look at him, it looks great from all the way around. Even the hair sculpt here is fantastic. One thing I really like what they did is they made the neck of the sweater stick out a little farther on one side, and it really just brings a realism to the figure. And of course we need to take a look at the all-famous glove. The glove looks awesome, just absolutely great. Just from the outside detail to the inside detail, NECA just nailed this glove. The blades themselves are not hard, they're more flexible, and the sweater itself looks like you could just put it on. I mean, it's that well detailed. Just the dirt and the grime in the sweater is great. Not to mention the frayed bottom here is incredible looking. And even on the back of the sweater, it has a hole down by the bottom. It's just great sculpting here. And as good as they did with the sweater, the pants look just as good with all the realistic folds they have from in the front and the back. You can see just the dirt is even on the boots from the top to the bottom. The detail on them are just great. So as for articulation, Freddy's head moves back and forth, and there's not a whole lot of movement there. His arm does have a ball joint in the shoulder. His left arm does bend back and forth. His hand does turn a little bit, but not too much. His right arm just basically does bend up and down. There's not too much more movement to that. His gloved hand does rotate, but not too much, and I wouldn't recommend bending it too much unless you want to break it. His waist does turn. He does not have any knee joints. They are solid legs. And his feet also do rotate and turn back and forth. So one thing that I can point out with this figure is his stance is not very good. By that I mean he does not like to stand up. He likes to fall over. And as I was recording this review, you'll see how many problems I had trying to keep him up and not fall over. But once you get him in a certain position, then he should stand on his own. But it's getting him in that position is what the difficult part is. The height of the figure is about 6.5 inches tall. It's a little bit farther than that, but he may have gotten to about 7 inches, except for his leaning stance. And that's the only way I can get him to stand up without falling over. Freddy comes with one accessory, and that's of course his classic fedora. The paint job and the detail on the hat is also exceptional. While the hat looks really cool, it doesn't fit on his head like it should. It's very loose. Even if you push it down, it wants to fall off all the time. So it's kind of almost too small for the top of his head, actually, because it should fit down farther and is on his head than what it is. And like I said, it's very loose fitting on top of the head. But I personally think he looks better even without the hat on. Alright, so let's bring up the old Figgle-meter and see how the Robert Englund version of Freddy Krueger stacks up. So the sculpt is incredible, just absolutely incredible. If you are a Freddy fan or even a Robert Englund fan, you could not find a better sculpt than this out there right now. So I can't give Robert Englund the perfect score because of the few flaws of him not being able to stand too well on his own and the lack of really accessories. I would like to have seen more than just the hat. I would have to give the Robert Englund version of Freddy a 4 out of 5. So don't forget to subscribe to our new page because we're going to have a ton more action figure reviews for you on the way. Okay, so let's take a closer look at